Dozens of airlines have suspended flights into Israel in anticipation of an Iranian attack. Just what is happening as the Middle East sits on a knife edge? And is there evidence that the Pentagon has already gone all hands on deck? I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. Let's talk about it. Okay, so this is a crazy story as airlines are canceling their flights into Israel. This is something that we haven't really seen since probably the Russian invasion of Ukraine, namely because it's rare that a geopolitical conflict of this scale occurs with notice. But in this instance, following the death of a senior Hamas leader in Iran, Iran has said explicitly, we are going to respond with force. This is, and of course, Israel in turn, already embroiled in one conflict, is made clear that they will retaliate. So dozens of airlines are taking no chances with literally airlines, primarily European ones, but also major carriers like Air India, Austrian Airlines, Brussels, Croatia, Delta. Again, two of the three major U.S. carriers, both Delta and United, suspending service, as well as Iberia, KLM, Polish Airlines, Swiss International, Vueling, and even budget airline Wizz. So, while some are continuing their flights to Israel, like Air France and Ryanair, even some other airlines like Fly Dubai are still ostensibly running flights, but only canceling them during select hours. So this is, again, very unusual, something that I really can't recall having seen since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And some of this is because it's rare that you have geopolitical conflicts that you get a lot of notice for. But following the assassination of a senior Hamas leader in Iran, Iran has said explicitly, we are going to retaliate. They blame Israel for this, despite kind of a growing body of evidence that actually or at least some rumors are reporting that it was actually internal people within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps who are responsible for this. Now, again, if they pulled the trigger, who's really behind it, right? Were they agents for someone else? That's for intelligence communities to figure out. It's unlikely that the public's ever going to really see the full evidence and attribution for this attack. But Iran needs to present this hard-line stance to its people, right? Its president already killed in a plane crash, and Iran has been on a confrontational pattern with Israel, right? You might recall how following a strike at an Iranian embassy, they launched a huge volley of drones toward Israel. And Iran tried to sort of thread the needle on that, where they said, listen, we're going to do this show of force, but we're going to throw these drones at Israel in such a way that they're highly likely to be interdicted. And that is exactly what happened. So it became just kind of a performative show. We know this because when Israel wanted to send a drone into, or rather, when Iran wanted to send a drone into Israel, they were able to successfully thwart Israeli radar systems. It seems like using low altitude flights and an unusual flight path. So now that Iran has shown, hey, we can hit you if we want, we're letting you know that we chose not to in this drone flight. But now that things have escalated, Iran can't do another performative defensive attack or defensive retaliation, right? They would call it defensive. So now they're left only with an actual retaliation. And again, this should shock no one. Iran has been given a ton of off-ramps in this conflict, as has Israel, right? The U.S. basically stepped in, shot down all of those Iranian drones, and told Israel, do not do this again to the Iranians, right? We are providing you cover for your conflict in Gaza, despite it being politically reviled in the United States. Somehow, one of the few areas where both the left and right wings agree that it's pretty terrible and that U.S. blanket support for Israel is sort of ridiculous. And yet, the U.S. continued to support it, but they said, listen, you have to keep your conflicts internal. And Israel refusing to do even that. Netanyahu saying, hey, we're ready. And if you strike at us, we'll exact a heavy price for any aggression, right? Of course, Israel's standing by for this expected strike. And again, Iran highly likely to need to show strength as internally they are very unpopular. In fact, in some ways, Netanyahu and Iran both sort of stuck in the same position. Netanyahu incredibly embarrassed by the October 7th attacks by Hamas as he was brought into office as a hardliner who put his military and national security credentials at the forefront. So part of the reason this whole thing started was because Netanyahu was so embarrassed by this surprise attack. And then Iran, in turn, having a whole bunch of religious hardliners in charge of the country who have pursued this very aggressive stance vis-a-vis Israel-Palestine, launching a bunch of attacks with their proxies. But internally, a lot of Iranians are really sick of these super religious hardliners who are damaging the country's economic prospects, restricting the freedom of an increasingly young and international or cosmopolitan-minded populace. So both of them sort of need wars, for lack of a better term. And again, like every good tragedy, people who are going to pay the price on this are, of course, civilians, kids, young recruits, basically doing so just to ensure leaders continue to remain in their positions of power. But we can actually infer, believe it or not, just how busy the Pentagon is with this sort of thing. We're going to take a look at that. But if you think you're going to be in an all-hands-on-deck situation, maybe you're at the Pentagon. I don't know. You might need a little extra source of caffeine that you can pop and go when needed. That's why I created Strike Gum. Strike Gum has all the caffeine of an energy drink, 90 milligrams in each individual piece, plus 100 milligrams of alpha GPC, but none of the sugar. And trust me, I know energy drinks are like $5 a pop now, and Strike Gum, you get 5 energy drinks in one pack. So the savings is obvious. You can go to strikegum.com. That's where you can get your military, your first responder discounts. If you're a Pentagon official, you could DM us. We'll get you that as well. Just, you got to have a real verifiable dod.mil address. So check it out. You can get the 5-pack, right? That's probably going to be your best deal. Throw it in your office, throw it on your gym bag, put it in your car, and you can have the energy wherever you need. You can try it with the 1-pack or the tray. Trey, if you know you're a caffeine guy, this is what you want. This is the best deal, right? Take your cost of an energy drink down from $5 a pop to literally it's like 75 cents. You could also get it on Amazon. Right? Just go to Amazon, search for Strike Gum. That's it. Okay, let's talk about how we know that the Pentagon is really going hard. And that is a little something called the Gay Bar Index. Yeah, I'm not making this up. Here, let me pull it up there so you can see it. Yeah, the Pentagon Index suggests when people are working late at what they call the war factory. Thank you. They look at 2 factors. One is pizza orders surging. It means that people who thought they were going to be home in time for dinner now need to order dinner to the office. And sometimes it's not even to the office, right? Sometimes it'll be to other nearby buildings. But pizza orders will surge. And then the other thing is that the gay bars near the Pentagon, especially on a Friday, are going to empty out, right? Because again, you work hard. If you've ever been in DC, you know that all the things being equal, you do not want to take that long commute. You just want to hop on the metro, go like 3 stops, get off, and party, right? And so gay bars are consistently packed along those key routes out of the Pentagon, except on a Friday night when there's a national security crisis. And nothing less than a crisis will keep DC's vibrant gay community from partying hard. And I say vibrant gay community, or women who just want to dance. They work at the Pentagon too, guys. It's 2024. Now, as you can see, right, the Domino's pizza orders, this isn't that good. This says this Friday that it was indeed busier than usual. You can see here's the Domino's pizza nearest the Pentagon. And it is almost, it looks like about 50 to 60% more traffic than a typical Friday. And you could see 10 p.m. So somebody at the Pentagon working late on Friday, and one of the nearest gay pubs, absolutely empty. I mean, look at this. 9 to 10 p.m. on a Friday, not a soul. Absolutely deserted. And let's see if we could find, let's do Google Maps here. I feel like that name is a little too on the nose, right? Okay, here we go. Directions from the Little Gay Pub to the Pentagon. Yep. The Pentagon. As you could see, easy drive, 25-minute metro ride. Yikes. That is probably a absolutely iconic stop. So, yeah, that's a sign, guys. That's a clue that, things, at least on Friday, were all hands on deck, right? Now, what's likely happening is the Pentagon's trying to figure out what's Iran going to do. How do we counter it effectively? Can we counter it? And if we can't, how do we try to keep this from escalating? And again, there's a bunch of other sort of bad signs, right? The U.S. Senate adopting a resolution authorizing U.S. forces. Let's see if I can find it. U.S. forces to target Iran. Let's see. Here we go. Resolution put forth by Lindsey Graham. Authorizing the United States Armed Forces against the Islamic Republic of Iran for threatening the national security of the United States through the development of nuclear weapons, this is weird because this isn't what this is about. But you can see it's very recently dropped, introduced just 5 days ago. And while this could be a precautionary measure, I really don't like this argument because this isn't the argument. Like, to say by threatening, a staunch U.S. ally in the Middle East, by threatening U.S. interests in the Middle East, by threatening the safety and stability of our allies, including Israel, Jordan, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, right? Anything. Threatening maritime shipping traffic through their proxies like the Houthis. There's a gazillion things. Why nuclear weapons? That's pretty dumb. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyway, guys, that's all I had. We're going to keep you guys updated, and if things really pop off, of course, we're going to drop a live stream, so if you see me going live, you'll know things have gone sideways. Thanks to everybody who supports me down at combatvetnews.com, particularly the Colonel tier members, Martin Baum, Gregory Pace, Stuart Abel, James Brown, James Ola, Chris Holmes, Chris Gorsuch, and all the Lieutenant tier members. I could not do this without you guys. You guys are the ones who sustain this whole operation. If you want to join, link is in the description. Get those uncensored combat videos. And of course, you can like the video and subscribe. They're free. Cheers. See ya.